If let's say it's a direct client, I think I will tell but not directly. Then I will started to maybe I just give some hints.
I think the audience is very curious now. What is the mishap?
There was in the unit itself.
It's like sometimes we get the buyer, "Ayo, this house so terrible. I won't buy."
But the owner thought that I'm over-promising him. So that's why he decided to give the exclusive to another agent.
Welcome back to the Yin Homes podcast, where we talk about real estate and beyond. My name is Yin Peng.
I'm Kenneth.
I'm Queenie.
I'm Gohao.
And I'm AB.
Make sure you follow us, click like and subscribe on all our socials. We're on YouTube and Facebook at Yin Homes. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at yin.homes. And if you're looking for a place to buy, rent, or sell in the TTDI area, head over to our website, yinhomes.my, for more information.
If you're watching or listening to this, we decided to do this podcast for many reasons. One of them is a way of sharing and communicating with our audience, be it buyers, clients, sellers, people who are interested in real estate. Topics, issues, tips, or even experiences about what's happening in the real estate sector.
But before we get into today's episode, let's introduce a new member to the Yin Homes team, Abby.
Hi everyone.
I'm very happy to have Abby on the team. Abby brings with her over 14 years of real estate experience, and we're very happy to have her on the team. And Abby, maybe you want to share with the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so basically you mentioned I have about 14 years of experience in the real estate industry. I started off to work as a sales and marketing team with Erika, a developer in Mont Kiara. And then I moved on to join an agency to do leasing and subsale in the secondary market. And then until recently, I joined Yin Homes, the rental team.
All right, Abby, thank you. So in today's episode, we're revisiting a previous discussion where we tackled the challenging topic of ethical dilemmas in real estate. If you haven't checked out that episode, I highly recommend watching it first. In that episode, we learned that real estate situations can often fall into gray areas, meaning there's no right or wrong answer. And oftentimes, I think in sort of this kind of real estate situation or ethical dilemma situations, it really comes down to no right or wrong, but really what is your value system. And for me, I think at the Yin Homes team, at least, I would like to think that this is the most important thing for us as team members or anybody new to the team that would like to join. It's not whether you can be the best salesperson, but if you don't have the right, if our ethical compass is not aligned, I think it's quite hard for us because I would like to believe all of us here on the team, we are quite aligned in terms of ethical compass so far, because I know that we have gone through many difficult situations, and sometimes most of the time it comes down to dollar and cents, but we always choose
To do the right thing.
To do the right thing. Sometimes it's hard, but we do it. And I think that's why I thought, today's episode would be good because we're going to go even deeper into this follow-up episode where we will be discussing a few tricky scenarios and see how we would, as a team, navigate through it. So in today's episode, we've boiled down to 3 different situations, 3 different scenarios. And the first one would be when you are faced with multiple offers on one property. How do you decide which one to accept? Okay, so let's give a little bit of context to this, I guess, because we can have many different scenarios, right? Okay, so we have listed this home that is worth 3 million. Okay, and finally, after so many rounds of showing and people giving you lowball offer 1.5, that kind of funny things, we finally received an offer for 2.5 million. And the homeowner, so of course, when you receive the offer, you make the phone call to the seller okay, Mr. Owner, we have received this offer, 2.5 million. These are the contingencies. These are the, condition precedent, whatever. And the owner said, okay, Kenneth, go ahead. Collect check. That's like, yeah.
Sure.
Wow, best feeling in the
Happy,
world, but you're also nervous. You're not sure. Okay, let's not, let's do our best to make this happen. And all the documents are completed and you rush over, although you're in the middle of a movie at the expense of your wife being angry at you. You say, goodbye, I need to go and collect the check now.
Scold me
And-
later.
Scold you me lah. Yeah, later first. You collect the check, buyer sign already, and as you are driving, you get another offer. You receive a phone call and a second offer. Kenneth, that day we went viewing. I really like the house. I really want. So can you put in an offer of 2.8 million for me? So now the question is, you have two offers, 2.5. Collected the check, document signed. Then another offer verbally come in. Don't know betul or not lah. A lot of people talk only. Then later it's tak jadi one, right? But it's 2.8 million. It's 300,000 higher. Do you inform the owner or not? And both offers are coming from your client. It's all your direct client. There's no agent or it's not a separate agent or whatever. So in this scenario, what is the right thing to do? Do we present the offer to the owner or do we go ahead with this 2.5? What should we do? Maybe since it's Abby's first time, we'll give her a chance to share. I'm sure you have faced this kind of scenario before, right?
Yeah.
Or something similar.
Right.
What is the right thing
Right.
to do?
But just now, I just want to clarify. You mentioned that the documents has been signed, but it's
By
only
the
by
buyer.
just buyer, right?
Yes.
The owner hasn't
The
signed yet,
owner
right?
hasn't
Yeah,
signed. So it's
okay.
not yet a valid
Yeah.
and binding document,
Yes, yes.
contract.
Right. Okay. So I think because the first buyer has made the offer and even put in the check already, show he's genuine. He's very genuine lah. Okay. Then the second offer is only a verbal one, so like nothing firm yet. So I think I will to be fair to the first buyer lah. I will inform the first buyer first. Like I have just received another higher offer, but since normally we will say like first come first serve, right? So
Yes.
I will check with him first whether he is able to make a similar or slightly higher offer or how. So yeah, I will give him a chance to
But your buyer
counter.
might get angry at you. The first buyer might think, are you playing tricks?
Then it's up to him lah. If he don't believe me, then too bad lah.
Then maybe the
At least I
second-
already give him a chance, right? Yeah.
Give him a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually me too, because I will agree with AB, try to honor the first offer because we also need to because the first buyer is also invested a lot of times to do survey and also viewing with the agent like us. Then they finally found a unit they truly like and then they already show their sincerity to pay the sign pay to booking already, do the booking already. So for me, I will try to honor, like let the first buyer to know about there's another higher offer from other client. So of course we will give the timeline.
Oh.
Okay, ladies, I think you all bring up a good point and very nice of you to your buyer. But in all of this, you forgotten one person out of the equation. You forgot about the owner, right? I feel that it seems like you are making all the decisions on behalf of the owner. But before we carry on with this discussion, just put a pause for a bit because Kahao is in the midst of doing his PEA. PEA is
Probationary.
estate agency.
okay, and that means that you're on your way to getting your real estate license, which is different from a real estate negotiator like us. So I guess you would know the law better than us. Maybe you want to share with us what, in terms of black and white, is it written or what is the right thing? Because the owner is not mentioned at all. It seems like the ladies seem to think that
We still got think of
The owner.
the owner. Oh, okay,
still
correction.
got,
Still got, okay.
Just that of course we will give the buyer
Sometime.
Some-
So you will still present this.
we'll still present to the owner, but maybe like we need to hear from
Handle
the
The first
buyer.
buyer.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. But what does in terms of what is it in book term? What does it say?
Okay, in the book term, because as an agent, we will follow based on the code of the ethic and the conduct.
Okay.
by MIEA lah, which is
So it's a
Malaysian.
code of ethic and
Yes.
code of conduct. Okay.
Yes, Malaysian institution, estate agents.
Okay.
So as an agent, is like agent first responsibility is to his clients and to practice his professions. Yeah. So the clients who may be an individual, landlord, buyers, tenant. Yeah. And
So it's all parties then.
company.
So you don't. So it's wrong. Does that mean that all along we are wrong to say that
Because it
seller
depends on
pay your
the-
commission, then you represent seller?
Sometimes it depends on the situation. If let's say it's like when we come through a co-agency, so it's like of course the buyer
The buyer is
agent,
represented by the co-agent.
Yes, but by the represented by the co-agents. So for our side, if we are the listing agent, of course we have to protect the landlord.
We also got show to present to owner ma.
So-
we just later a bit only.
So, but then it's not. So if I understand the code of conduct and what
and
ethics,
yes.
ethics correctly, then actually you are not wrong also, because you are supposed to represent both parties and
also,
protect both parties'
and
interests.
also, and so actually agent also cannot serve two parties, two masters, which is, and of course here also stated that, but as an agent should under all circumstances act as fairly as possible between the parties.
So in other words, it's a gray area, no right
So
or
it's
wrong.
a gray area.
So ladies also, in a way, you're right.
But what cannot?
But for me, I think that the first offer, 2.5 million, I collected the check, offer letter signed. I'm on my way to go see the owner to confirm. Once I get this 2.8 million, a higher offer, right, I feel it's my duty to inform the owner of this latest offer. Because the seller appointed me as his agent to market the property. All right. I think the right thing to do in this case is to present the offer to him and let him be in the know of this higher offer.
So that he's empowered to decide what is the next course of action.
Correct. And also, besides just monetary terms, 2.5 versus 2.8, of course, people will take the higher offer. But us as an agent, we must know that it's not only about the sum, the figure. You must also know what are the conditions of the sale. And we present everything to the owner to make him let him do an informed decision. But the thing is, I will have to tell the owner about this. I cannot just blindly let him sign a 2.5 million offer without him knowing that there is another offer 2.8 million on hand. That is my thought. Yeah.
Yeah, so recently I've not verified this, but I've spoken to somebody who used to study real estate in Singapore, and apparently now it is if you don't present all offers and your other buyer were to find out, because now data is very transparent, you can always go and check for transacted prices, right? And if they find out that you did not present their offer for whatever reason, if they can prove it, you can actually be taken to court. But of course, I think in Malaysia, based on what is in the code of conduct, maybe it is a little bit of a gray area, and it really is about doing what is right by what the agent's judgment.
Of course, based on my understanding, owner is the one who appointed us as an agent, and also they are the one who pay us the fee. So, of course, based on my understanding, I think owner is the clients that we should.
Yeah, of course. But for us, for our point is we still will tell the owner, but we still give the second chance to the first.
You all
buyer.
mentioned about you give the first buyer a timeline. How long would you all give?
One day.
1 day.
Yeah.
It's either you need to do the decision immediately. If you really like the house, you should give the higher. It's either same price with the second buyer or even higher.
Which
If
is
you really-
also good for the owner.
Yeah.
Instead of 2.8, maybe 2.85.
But will your buyer feel that he cannot wait? It's a very serious offer. He wants the house, hence he's paying.
Yeah, that's why
higher price.
I think it's a very sincere offer. You list at 3, you do 2.8, Abby, you can't collect the check now.
Yeah, that's why I think
Why are
one
you still
day-
giving? Why you still have to get back to me in 1 day? I think it's a very good offer.
You mean for the second buyer?
Yes. Then will you reveal to the second buyer that you actually have an offer already, but all negotiation is private and confidential, right?
Yeah, and most of the time is essence also, because like everything can change overnight. Maybe after 1 day, your buyer said that.
Then your second buyer say don't want. Then your first buyer think that you are baiting.
Yeah, so and then it's that both party also cannot.
I feel it really depends on what buyer think about, because if let's say the buyer really like the house, and actually we all transparent, we actually show what's going on to the first buyer, but of course we will still tell the second buyer that okay, we actually, the owner got verbally accept another offer.
Yeah.
It's just that we cannot like really tell them.
You cannot. All negotiations are secret,
Yeah, so
private and confidential.
so
Yes.
of course, if let's say second buyer can wait, is really like, if second buyer really like the house, I think he okay to wait.
But Kenneth, you're asking this question, is it because what would you do then? It seemed like you would not wait that one day.
I wouldn't wait that one day. I will, as I said, I will inform the owner, and I will give to him all information relevant to the sale. lah. Different buyers have different conditions to the sale, and I will discuss with the owner. So if the owner accepts the second offer, I will proceed with the second offer, because the first offer we have the signed offer letter and the check, but it is not binding yet. It's not signed by the vendor or the seller in this case. So that is what I would do. Yeah.
And actually, sometimes, I mean, just to wrap up this situation, is that we have encountered. I remember, but I can't remember which case was it. It was this exact situation, and I agree. I mean, I called the seller and I say, so uneasy. I don't know what to do. So I said, okay, Mr. Seller, I just received this offer, and he said, Yin Peng, we must honor our word. So I have already told you at this price, and this buyer already, I appreciate, he immediately sign and give the check. I will honor,
His word.
keep my words. Please proceed with the 2.5. If that doesn't go through, we can always go back to the 2.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes, no right or wrong answer, but I guess the conclusion, I think we can collectively agree is that we must exercise some level of transparency. We will still reveal to the seller all the whatever the whole situation, and also honest to the buyers. And in the end, I think if the house is meant to be yours, it will somehow
Be yours.
be yours. So as we dive deeper into this sort of ethical dilemma, I think what we hope our audience can get from this episode really is actually how important choosing your real estate agent is. And I've always believed that choosing your real estate agent is like choosing your business partner, which means how do you choose a business partner? You choose somebody who is aligned with you in terms of goals, who is aligned with you in terms of vision, who is aligned with you in terms of value. I think the value system is the most important thing in doing a business, right? So if your value system is not aligned, I think you'll find the whole transaction becomes very conflicting and very difficult, right? So I think like as we present more and more situations, we just hope that this becomes apparent, and that when you choose a real estate agent, it's not choosing your friend, it's not choosing your family member. I know we all have obligations, but it is still a transaction. It is still like running your business. And I think more importantly is, are you aligned with your real estate agent? For example, another second situation is, especially for us, we deal with properties that are in a matured neighborhood. You're over 30, 40 years, and Taman Tun is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. It's a matured property, and sometimes you do get cases where the house has been abandoned. I think in the previous episodes we've mentioned how we have found dead cats, carcasses, animal carcasses, and there have been cases where they may be, I just gotta clarify that, or death, and sometimes just in general, because we go into so many houses, right? I mean, on big viewing, how many houses do you? It's like Saturday when you're back to back, right? If you really take stock, how many houses you can view?
No, we can. Sometime weekday also is like one morning you like reviewing 8 houses like yesterday.
One appointment, right? So if you're back to back easily is
Over the weekend, you can easily view 15 houses minimum.
15.
minimum, right? I think rental also you're
Easily.
in out. If you count at the end of the day, usually by 6 o'clock Saturday, all of us are like a bit like
Budget already.
Budget, we're done already. We're done for the day. But because we go to so many houses, there are cases where we go in, we do have Juju.
Juju.
Bad juju. You get some goosebumps, you feel a little uneasy. And then everybody in the house also don't seem very happy one. Ada tak?
Yes, there are some houses like this.
Have you
Chills and
yeah.
the goosebumps.
There are, right. And then there's some houses where the family is just happy.
Yeah.
And generally you can see everything is doing well. So I think there's some energy. And so now the question is, when you have all these kind of things, would you take the initiative in such situation where a property has a sensitive history? Maybe it's death, suicide, rumors of ghosts, murder. The murder is quite scary. Just in general, bad juju lah. You know that this house. I remember there was one house. There's one house in Taman Tun one. This bungalow. Anyway, we didn't transact this. Clarify. Every family that live in their house go bankrupt. Okay. So the first lady that bought the house and made 1 million out of that transaction, she bought that house for investment, which means she never lived in it. Then she sold it to this other family. And then the family stayed in there bankrupt. The next one also bankrupt. All sort of things will happen. That's one of it. And another one is we listed a property, a condo.
Yep.
Maybe you want to explain a little bit what
Yeah.
the sequence of events.
Yeah, so we actually got a call from a owner telling us that she or he would like to sell off the property. And of course, we gladly accepted the appointment. We went to see the unit. It was just refurbished. It was brand new. I mean, like I was amazed. Wow, so nice house, you know. So of course, we were very happy with the listing, the new listing that we got. We got something good to sell, you know. It's quite hard and to get a good unit in that development.
And we got the keys as well.
And we got the keys as
so
well.
we were super happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, beautiful units like this, we get a lot of inquiries. And I actually brought quite a lot of potential buyers to view the place. Until I got news that a mishap happened in the apartment. Not from the buyers, but from generally you go in and out, you stumble upon the neighbors or people who are in the condo. And I got to know what happened in that unit. Yeah. So begs me the question is, if I had known whether...
Wait. I think the audience is very curious now. Well, actually, what is the mishap? You put it...
The mishap? Someone... I mean, there was a suicide in the unit itself.
Oh.
Yeah.
He hung himself because I think there was the fan hook.
Yep.
And he put and then they found him hanging in the unit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk because when I picture it, then I feel like there are goosebumps on my one feeling now already. Generally, we are talking about a mishap lah, and we were not in the know. We were not in the know.
We didn't know. Actually, we genuinely did not know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, whether if I knew, would I market it or would I inform the buyers? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
So.
And it was hard, right? Actually, once we found out, how you also brought a lot of people.
I brought a lot of people.
Did you tell?
I did tell because even though there's the one who told us about it is a neighbor. So that time I was curious.
So did you clarify with the owner
No,
about this incident?
because it's hard to
It's
clarify
hard,
with the
it's hard to talk to the owner.
and this is from the neighbors. Because at that time the neighbor also showed some interest to the unit. So I'm thinking, are you trying to push down the price by telling me all this story?
Yeah. Some people like to do that,
To
right?
scare away other buyers to compete with her.
You know, it's like sometimes we get the buyer, "Ayo, this house so terrible.
I want buy.
But of course, once the neighbor told about it, and then we standing inside of the unit, and then we would think, the unit also refurbished already. It might be something because it's like so different like compared to other like units because it's a totally refurbished. But it's hard to say. Maybe the owner like this kind of design. That's why
Yeah.
they refurbish it and then for sale.
But I don't know, how did we find out? How did we confirm this? I think after that we asked around a little bit and then
Yeah.
it was true lah.
I think after sometimes there's another. I think it's a surrounding neighborhood also. Like
That says,
another
right?
neighbor say this to us.
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
That's why I don't know. I think we were the only ones marketing it at first, right?
Yes, at first.
And we were really hard working on that. But then after we found out, we still continue to show.
Yeah, we've been working hard on it like for many months.
For many months, but then we were very nervous. Like every time somebody showed a smidge of an interest, oh, you sure you? I get really nervous, and then I will start to question. Are you sure you want?
Yeah.
And you came pretty close.
Yep. For us, it's because we all just don't show that one unit. If you have an inquiry on that unit, we show a few other units just to let the clients and buyers compare. Yeah, and I was pretty close. I didn't put much heart into really selling the unit, but because the offer came from a co-agent, and the co-agent is a very aggressive person, but the buyers are generally very nice. We became very close, but at the end, it didn't work out.
The deal fell through.
The deal fell through, and I never felt so glad that a deal fell through actually. Yeah.
Actually, it was a relief, right?
It was
because
a
I remember
relief.
we had a discussion like, do we tell? But it's not our direct client.
Yeah.
It's a co-agent client. Then
Yeah.
my last, since anyway she was not very nice to you either, right?
Yeah, she wasn't.
So we said, never mind lah, let her. But I guess it was a relief for you.
It was a relief lah. The deal didn't go through. Yeah. It's a good thing.
But if let's say for me, if let's say it's a direct client, I think I will tell, but not directly. Maybe like during viewing, then I will started to maybe I just give some hints.
What
Like,
would be your
What's your
hints?
hints?
So that we know.
It's okay if you're really interested in this house, then you bring your own seafood come and to take a look and
But I'm
check about it.
Christian. Why suddenly you tell me this? Or I'm Muslim. I don't believe in
Bomo lah. You your own belief,
Just bring somebody lah.
I bring the pastor to come to pray. If I'm a Christian,
it's
I bring
like
the ustaz.
for me, I really will tell in that
So
way.
you will give, but so that means you won't tell. You will just give hint.
I will. Yes, actually, I will say. Okay. I need to depends on the client whether they really interested or not. If let's say they really show the interest, then that's where I came into like, oh, if you're really interested in towards this unit, maybe you can bring your own seafood, to check around. Then and maybe you can check with your wife and bring your own kids. Come sometimes.
Why bring kids?
Bring kids. It's need to make sure the kids also happy with the unit.
I have a client who brings her dog along
No.
to scan for the house. It's true story.
Really?
So if there's
Yeah.
something, what would the dog do?
The dog will bark and go like on your frenzy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you see the
and-
dog do that in any unit?
No, she didn't. She bought from me. The dog never said anything. The dog very quiet.
Oh, she bought from you.
She bought from me.
Ah.
And actually her friends loan ask her to bring her dog every time they want to go and see houses.
Yeah, but actually it's also like
Yeah.
I got friends always like when they do viewing, they also bring their kids because kids very sensitive.
Yes, so that's what I've heard as well. Is that so one tip before we move on to the next one is that so in the real estate industry in general, right? We always say bring the baby. Bring the children along. If let's say they cry and cry and cry,
Non-stop.
it's time to leave. And I've had clients done that where the children cry, they say, "Let's go, let's go." Right? And I think Queenie, you also mentioned before your parents are because your parents like real estate a lot. For them, they just see from outside, is it?
Yeah, they don't want to step in already.
So they are that client that will always ask for the address after you never hear back. That means not.
Actually, my parents have when they wanted to look at the unit, right? They will ask for the address. Then they will go and round the.
Then they see how you feel.
Yes.
See how they feel.
So if let's say the energy is not matched with them, then they will stop outside. Then they will call the agent and like saying that no need to view this unit anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, and of course, there's many kind of buyer. I think some of your buyers is like they don't really like.
Oh, yeah.
Afraid of it. They will
Yeah,
say
it's true.
something like,
Oh yeah, we had that. Talking about suicide, right? There's that one. Yeah. So when you go for viewing, these are the commonly old wives' tale tips that often happen. So one is bring your pet.
Bring baby.
Bring baby. and then seafood,
Momo.
and trust your general gut instinct. I think we always in the end buying a house is that. But just take a pause to share a story. Having said all this, there's some people who really you'll be surprised, pantang one.
Yeah.
So we to my surprise, we have a seller that whom we are very close with, and he wanted to buy a house in out of state, in Johor. And so one time he asked me to go with him to inspect the house. And he actually told me that the agent was very good. The agent told him somebody committed suicide in the house, hung himself. Then I said, oh my God, Encik, you want to go and view?
You were scared to go in also.
Yeah. He said, no, you come with me. I want you to come with me. We go together. So we drove down all the way. I said, you're not scared? He said, Yin Peng, I tell you one thing. I am not scared of the dead. I am more scared of the living. Living people can do more harm to you than the dead.
I second.
I was so scared. We arrived at the house. The moment we got the gate to my shop, he just gave me a big hug and jumped up and down. This is my house. This is my house.
Like so happy, right?
So happy. And I'm like, yeah, but somebody died in that. And he said, no, it's okay. And he bought the house. And then recently we went to visit him.
Yes.
And he's very happy there.
He's very happy in the house.
Oh.
I don't feel anything.
But I
in the
don't feel
house.
anything either.
Yeah.
I see. Maybe I think it's about the energy.
Yeah, individual.
Yeah, individual.
Yeah, individual energy.
Because
So
it's really sometimes it's not about you choosing the house also. It's
the
like the
house choose
chooses
you.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. It is Yun Fan. What is
Hi.
that? In Mandarin is
缘分.
Yuan Fan.
Yeah.
In English is fate.
Yeah, it's fate.
Is in Malay is called what? Takdir.
Takdir.
Takdir. It's meant to be. Your rezeki. If it's-
rezeki.
Yes, if it's meant for you to have the house, is your rezeki. Yeah, that's true. That's what we believe. Okay, so the last, but not least scenario, last one. So we are area specialists. Area specialist means we go. So commonly, most agents, you take whatever listing that you have. It can be Cyberjaya, it can be in Desa Park City, it can be in Taman Tun, it can be KLCC. You take one, and then you try to market it. But I would like to think that we are area specialists, meaning we focus in one or two specific areas. And what that means is for the buyer, the moment or the tenant, you come to us, we are the one-stop shop for you. So you tell us your needs, you tell us your wants, and actually more or less, once we bring you for one round of viewing, we know whether at the moment it's time for you to buy and there's the right unit for you. And for owner, we are able to tell you, and I think sometimes also better than the bank valuation, because what I always tell people, bank valuation is good, but what we do is we have the pulse on the ground. We know what the market wants, what the market needs, and we know when a house is overpriced or underpriced. And we've met a lot of owners who actually sometimes at the time they also know what price they want to sell. And we have had incidents where the owner is very motivated to sell at a lower price. And it's underpriced. So let's say like a single story in Taman Tun today is how much, Kenneth? Like
1.2 to 1.4.
1.2 to 1.4. But you go and meet the owner and one tells you, Kenneth, I know my house is very valuable. You sell for me for 1 million. Would you take that on or would you advise otherwise? Now, I take a pause on this before we jump into this discussion is that the reason why we chose this topic is that recently we were at the TTDI Health and Wellness event. We're very happy to support and sponsor our local community events. So when we are there, we have the booth, as one of the sponsors, we have a booth and we got a lot of people coming. And one Nick came along. And we just started chit chat, and she said, "Oh yeah, Yin Peng, nice to see you again because we're there every year." So we're talking, and she said, "How much is a single story now in Taman Tun?" So I said 1.2 to 1.4. It depends, right? I mean, that's the general transacted rate. And she said, "My good friend at the masjid sold her single story house for less than 1 million. Got a shock." And she said, "I'm very upset. Why?" And I said, "Who's the agent?" And she said, "I told her to call the area, especially not just us, there are other, agents as well. But she said she trusts this lady so much. But now the lady did not disclose, number one, all the information. Number two is that she said, I told my friend, and the poor owner is actually illiterate. But I said, you can't do anything. Everything has been signed. So she's very angry. And to today, she's still trying to call me, ask me what I should do. But I mean, to be honest, there's not even much you can do. So there are a lot of situations like this out there, and it is happening. So as an agent, would you take it, or would you advise the owner otherwise? To be easy to sell on million.
Yeah. If I hear 1 million, the owner asks me to sell the single story at 1 million, right? I'll be like so happy. Wow, strike lottery this one. But after that, my conscience will take over and then I'll pull the handbrake. Cannot 1 million. I think is we can definitely push the price higher lah, to the average, to what the market can accept. Because as specialists, we have a lot of buyers that we bring for viewings. We know how much people are willing to pay for a single story or a 2-story or a semi-D or a bungalow. And if the owner is pricing themselves too low, I will definitely let them know to hold on and let us do our thing, and we try our best to get you a price that you deserve.
And it's good for, and people may think that, it's because of this, your agent lowering the price. But you have to understand that you also cannot overvalue, right? Because then the property won't move. But if let's say you buy, with every transaction, we work so hard so that every transaction, we can push the price up a little bit more so that it is a win for the buyer. Why is it a win for the buyer? Because then you know that it's always constant appreciation, and a win for the seller, of course, right? And I think that is our role, right? I don't know, Abby, what would you do? I mean, you have 14 years. Would you take it? Because then you can sell fast. Then owner will say, wow, Abby, you're very good.
But also need to know whether the reason behind the urgency to sell.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they want to migrate or whatsoever. They just want to settle everything here. So, if that's the case, then yeah.
You should follow the wishes lah. What for you so backside EG, go and help them to push higher, right?
Yeah.
True.
Just help them to let go as
So understanding their
possible.
motive.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I would like to think that most clients would like to hear the agent say, I will work harder for you. And I don't know, recently you had this experience. I mean, okay, so the question is, does honesty pay off or not?
It's very subjective. After that case, I've seen the owner. Because I thought agent is like should always work hard, should always push for the price, highest price for the owner. So after I met the owner, actually the owner like expecting the price is low. He's a
Very realistic guy.
very, very realistic guy because he should look through all the transaction report, but the transacted price is about 1.2 to 1.3. So he thought his unit is worth around there, 1.2 to 1.3. But actually his unit is a
Beautiful
so
unit.
beautiful
I
in
remember
terms of
when
the-
you showed us all the pictures, we were all so excited, right?
Yes, it's a totally
Refurbished,
refurbished,
tastefully
tastefully
renovated,
renovated,
hardwood flooring,
with fully furnished.
veneer kitchen cabinets. You have to pay extra for the
Yes.
veneers.
The view also.
yeah,
The
I mean,
view,
It's fun.
one of the best
views lah
views
in the whole block.
For that
KLGCC
development.
golf course view.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And some with fully furnished some more.
Wow.
Yes.
Which is why you thought actually by right he should be aiming for the 1.5 mark. And I think that's a fair price, right?
yeah,
So fair
1.5. We can say that it's a asking price 1.5, and we are targeting to close it at around 1.4. But the owner thought that, I'm over promising him. Because based on the transacted price, it's only 1.2 to 1.3. So if I think that I'm over promising and not really being realistic, yeah. So that's why he decided to give the exclusive to another agent.
That one was a bit, I think we were all a little bit taken aback.
Yeah.
And it made us question like,
Yeah.
maybe honesty doesn't pay off. And the agent sold that unit because it's cheap. I knew she would sell it.
Yeah, but sometimes like what you say is so it's very hard to say it's subject to individual owners, of course.
Yeah.
Still.
And so at the end of the day, I think, of course, at the end of the day, it is what we believe in, what we think we do. We advise what we can. But I think Abby also has a good point in the sense that as a real estate agent or as someone in service line, we must understand our client's motive. We have empathy. We support what their goals is, but at the same time, as area specialists, it's also our obligation to give the advice that we need, but we of course leave it open. At the end of the day, it's up to you. We will support you. But if it's overpriced, also we will advise, and we will also try. I think that's the role of area specialists, and that's why I think, again, coming back, why we thought today's discussion is important, is because there's so many variables. Every day we face many variables, and there's not a lot of regulation in terms of black and white lah.
Yep.
So that leaves a lot of us to our own devices and to actually refer to our own ethical compass to make a lot of decisions. And that's why, for me, I'm a firm believer that interview your real estate agent. Make sure you feel good. You feel you are aligned with them. Your values align. I think that is the most important thing, because again, I just want to say, buying and selling a house is very important. The role of the real estate agent actually is beyond just opening and closing the door. I know sometimes we want to give opportunities to your friends, to your family, but it is one of the biggest transaction and important transaction that you're going to have in your life. So you have to take precaution, do your homework, do your due diligence, and understand that the role of the real estate agent really is to facilitate these things for you in one of the biggest decisions that you're going to make in your life. I think that's all the time that we have for today. Okay. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed our episode today. Talk about ethical dilemmas. And if you have any, to our audience, if you have any burning, challenging questions, do drop it in the comment box below so that we can have a discussion internally, maybe address it in the next episode and make for an interesting discussion. I think that's all the time we have for today. My thanks to my colleagues, Kenneth, Gahal, Queenie, and Abby. Thank you for watching and listening to us on this podcast. Make sure you follow us, click like and subscribe on all our socials on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, head over to yinhomes.my for all your real estate needs.
Bye.
Bye.